Latasha wants to know what loving your neighbor really means.
And that's why I have a shoe on my head?
Yes. No. Well, kind of.
Help me out here, Bob.
You see, I'm about to tell Latasha the story of Flibber-O-Loo. And in that story, you, Larry, have a shoe on your head.
Oh, it's all so clear now. Hurry up and tell the story. My head's starting to sweat.
Okay, here goes. The sun always shone on the mountains of Fibble. The wind and the rains never came. To call the place beautiful, no one would quibble, though hard on the feet, they'd exclaim. But high in those hills, past the rocks and the rubble, so high that the clouds were below, sat two tiny towns that were nothing but trouble. As you listen, you'll see that it's so. Now, the town to the west that thought it was best bore the name Flibber-O-Loo, where the women and men since 1710 have worn on their heads one large shoe. Now, in town number 2, one big shoe wouldn't do, so the people of Gibberty-Lot would look down and bellow at shoe-headed fellows and place on their own heads a pot.
Mine's really more of a kettle.
For days without end, these two neighbors would bicker as to whose headgear was best, and the shoes and the pots would fly ever thicker, from morning to night without rest. But not all of the people who lived in these cities were angry and bitter and vile. A few would write poems and sing happy ditties and greet all their friends with a smile. One Flibbian fellow who hated to fight tried hard not to act like a mobster. While pots crashed around him from morning till night, he'd just play with his pet wind-up lobster. They kept to themselves, and they'd talk, until one day he said,
Hey, let's go for a walk. I'm tired of lying around like a squid. I want to go out there.
So that's what he did. The shoe-headed boy and his blue plastic friend walked out of their town and began to descend to the dark, rocky valley between the two cities, away from his friends and their light-hearted ditties.
La la la. La la la. Hey, this is swell,
he said.
Gosh, this is fun. It's great that my lobster can get out and run.
But neither the toy nor the boy with the shoe could see the disaster about to ensue. For up in the rocks, hidden just out of sight, were 6 beady eyes filled with anger and spite. 6 beady eyes watched our hero meander, 2 shifty crooks and their ruthless commander.
Oh, look what good fortune,
the nasty one said.
Here comes the poor fool with a shoe on his head.
I bet he's got money.
I bet he's got gold, or maybe some jewelry he'd like us to hold.
Whatever the booty, I think I could stand it. Why, that's what I live for. That's why I'm a bandit.
And then they attacked him from under their rock. First they knocked off his shoe, then they knocked off his sock. But the thing they did next was extremely unfunny. Why, they shook him so hard that he dropped his milk money.
Hey!
He protested.
I don't like your ilk. How will I go strong if I don't drink my milk?
But they didn't care. They'd accomplished their goal. So they put our friend down, stuck his head in a hole, and walked off with his money, every last nickel, then yelled back as they left.
See you around, Silly Pickle.
I'm a cucumber.
Then he said with a moan,
Well, I guess I'm alone.
But this was a loneliness he'd never known. His friends were far off and his lobster was missing. The sound he could hear was just the wind hissing.
Hello? Hello?
Things looked pretty grim for our Flibbian buddy, his head in a hole, his shoe bent and muddy. But then, were those footsteps? Oh, could it be true? Along came the mayor of Flibber-O-Loo. Of anyone, surely he'd help the poor soul.
Hello?
Said the boy with his head in a hole.
I seem to have fallen. I seem to be stuck. But now that you're here, well, I guess I'm in luck.
Oh, dear,
said the mayor, observing the shoe.
A fellow in need, and he's Flibbian, too. Young man, I have noticed your dire situation, and please rest assured that I share your frustration. But how can I put this? What can I say? Maybe you'll understand better this way.